Did you know that ego can actually mimic awareness, which can keep us asleep? And this is one of the tricks. There are quite a lot of tricks that ego can play. This is one of the, it's not sinister, it's just more bizarre things that ego is capable of using the mind, using the functions that are operating here to sustain itself. And so if we think of ego as almost something that wants to survive, and it will do what it needs to do to make sure that happens, and if it has to get a bit tricky to ensure that happens, then it will do bizarre things like mimic awareness to ensure that you don't keep progressing with awakening. There are a number of different ways this can happen, but I'll give you some examples here so you can have a look in your experience and see if this is happening for you. One example that I've given before is that the mind, so ego can use the mind to create an image of something that we believe to be true, our true selves, such as an image of emptiness. So we may be doing a self-inquiry or meditation and ask to, and really be honestly seeking an experience of our being, of emptiness. And instead what we get is an overlay on top of that, an image created by mind of a dark, empty space, of what a mind imagines emptiness to be. And so we could easily believe that that is an authentic experience of emptiness. It's all empty, it's all dark, there's nothing there. That sounds like it's correct. And so this is where these subtle little tricks can happen that can keep us stuck with awakening, stop us from making some good progress. And so it's helpful sometimes to be a bit skeptical and understand that mind is tricky and that these tricks may be being played out, and to just kind of assume maybe this might not be it, and can I experience something deeper, or prior to this could be an inquiry to ensure that we keep moving forward. So that is one example, is that images of a void instead of the actual void, the deepest part of our being, an image of it, an idea of it, a concept of it. So we're talking about really subtle things here, but things that have a massive impact on our progress. So another way that is very common that I see is that ego mimics the witnessing position. So as we begin to understand, as we're going through the awakening process, that one of the qualities of our true nature is that it is aware of what is happening. There is a witnessing going on to all the content that's arising, to the thoughts, to the emotions, to the sensations. There's always this chronic witnessing going on. And we initially didn't see that, we overlooked that. And then we started to notice that that was there. And then we started to be able to align with that witnessing position, and perhaps got quite good at doing that. But sometimes we're not actually in awareness, weirdly. So yes, it has a witnessing quality to it, and it's totally understandable why we would think that that is it that we're looking for. That must be awareness. It's aware. It's witnessing what's going on. That's got to be awareness. I'm in the awareness position. This must be helpful for awakening. It certainly makes sense. However, the trick is that ego can mimic that witnessing position. It's very strange, I know. So ego can become very good at being the witness. It takes on that role and it witnesses and makes you think that you are in awareness when you're not. That witnessing that you're stabilizing in is your true self, when it's not. It's an ego version of awareness. So how can we tell it apart? So first of all, being skeptical, having a bit of doubt, not quite trusting your experience and always asking to go deeper is one way. And also just energetically, trying to notice the subtle differences to where things are being perceived from. Is there contractions going on internally, and getting really in tune with the subtle energies inside can help you to differentiate. So I'll give you an example of that. So it may not play out exactly the same from person to person, but just one example so that you can explore for yourself. So we can ask, so if we just sit here quietly, and whatever the next thought is that arises, so that's the content, whether it's a thought or an emotion, sensation. So there's a thought here. I don't know what I'm doing, perhaps, is the thought. So that's the content. Now, we know there's a technique where we get in the witness position. We get in the position of awareness, so thinking that that's our true self. So we're going to now try to notice that thought process happening, but instead leaning in, relaxing into the witnessing of that. Now, as we do that, notice, usually in the head region, is there pressure? Is there effort? Is there contraction? Perhaps it's a little painful, almost like it's trying too hard. Is the energy moving forward in the head, almost coming out of the body this way? Is it a forward moving energy, like of efforting and attention, like that? And can you notice that subtlety? And you can ask, I want to be shown fake awareness, ego mimicking awareness as I practice this, so that I can tell the difference. Show me that. So we notice the thought and we ask, what does it feel like to be in the fake awareness position, where ego is mimicking it, and feel what that feels like. So it's likely going to feel like a contraction, a bit of a headache, forward moving energy, a lot of effort required, tension, something along those lines when we're engaging it, because ego is involved here. So contraction of energy is happening. So this is not awareness. This is ego mimicking awareness and getting good at being the witness. But it's not what we're trying to do here. Now, by comparison, in our direct experience, we try to explore, and we may have never experienced this before, authentically. If ego has been corrupting the activity, the practice. And so if we want to be in the witnessing awareness, authentic awareness position, we ask, we set that intention. What does it feel like to rest in awareness? True awareness. Let me feel the difference between what I was just doing and what is real. Now, what you might notice here is a relaxing and opening. The energy might feel like it sits back. And any tension and pressure around the head might actually relax. Almost like a breath out, like can relax now. There's no efforting here. It's a relaxed state. And so explore the contrast back and forth, so you can see in your direct experience the difference. What does it feel like when ego is trying to mimic the witness? Let me try that now. tension, energy moving forward, tension in the eyes, here, pressure, effort, focusing, hard, contraction. And then the opposite, what if I just let all that go and just be my true self? I don't know how to do that. I just relax. I stop trying to be the witness. I just relax. We notice the energy moves back. It relaxes, opens. Feel like you don't really know what you're doing. There's no effort involved. So see, by setting that intention and playing in your direct experience, you can find out for yourself what it feels like to have the two different experiences, one that is a fake ego version and one that is an authentic one. And we can use this technique for many different things, not just for this, but to help explore the subtleties of the changing energies within us, which is still ego. Ego is still that contraction and that tension and that forward moving and that doing. It was trying to do the witness. It was trying to become the witness. And with that, we can feel it. It feels heavy. It could even be painful. When we're in just awareness position, it's relaxing, it's open, it's empty. There's no tension, there's no contraction. It's just endlessly opening and opening and opening. So once we do a comparison like that, we can see just how different the energy is, and that is very easy to notice. So this might sound like a complicated practice, and it's going to depend where you're at with awakening and whether you can access this subtle energy and being able, because we're really wanting to tune into subtle energies as we're progressing with awakening. It becomes less and less loud about the loud stuff and more about the subtle shifts that are going on, subtle shifts in perspective, contractions that are happening, things that are a lot more quiet but still very important, and still ways to identify ego. In contraction is one way, as you saw through that example.